Hello and welcome to Code Your English. I'm glad you're here today. Take a moment wherever you are. Maybe you're walking, maybe you're having your morning coffee, or maybe you're just relaxing at home. This is your time, a short moment in your busy day, to listen, learn, and think about something that could truly change the way you see yourself and your life. Today, we're going to talk about something powerful, something that often works quietly in the background of your mind, without you even noticing it. It's your subconscious mind. You may have heard this term before. People talk about it in books, in psychology, and even in everyday conversations. But what does it really mean? And why should you, someone learning English and also trying to grow as a person, care about it? Here's the thing. The subconscious mind is like a silent partner that never stops working. Imagine an iceberg, the part you can see above the water. That's your conscious mind, the thoughts you're aware of every day. I need to finish this task. What should I eat for lunch? But beneath the surface, much larger and far more powerful, lies your subconscious. It controls your habits, your automatic reactions, your fears, and even many of your decisions without asking you first. Now, let me ask you a simple but important question. Have you ever noticed that your thoughts, even the quiet ones, shape the way your life unfolds? Maybe you once believed something was too difficult, so you didn't try. Or maybe you told yourself, "I can handle this." And suddenly, you felt stronger, more capable. That wasn't just luck or coincidence. That was your subconscious mind responding to the thoughts you gave it. Think about this. Every time you say to yourself, "I'm not good at this," or "I always fail," your subconscious listens. It doesn't argue. It doesn't ask if it's true. It simply accepts those ideas and starts to act as if they are facts. On the other hand, when you tell yourself, "I can learn," or "I will find a way," your subconscious begins to support you, making you notice opportunities and giving you energy to keep going. This is why understanding and guiding your subconscious mind matters so much. It's not just about thinking positively in a simple way. It's about realizing that the thoughts you repeat, even silently, have the power to shape your habits, your confidence, and ultimately, your future. So, as you listen to today's episode, I want you to stay curious. Ask yourself, what beliefs are quietly guiding my life right now? Are they helping me, or are they holding me back? What is the subconscious mind? Let's take a moment now to understand what the subconscious mind actually is. We often hear the term, but many people don't really stop to think about it. Your mind has two main parts, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part you are aware of right now. It's the voice in your head that says, "I'm listening to this podcast," or "I need to send that email later." It's logical. It analyzes, it plans, and it makes decisions in the present moment. The subconscious mind, on the other hand, works quietly in the background. It's like the software on your phone or computer that you don't see, but that runs everything. Without it, the screen might look fine, but the apps wouldn't open, and nothing would function properly. Your subconscious manages so many things automatically. It keeps your heart beating, your lungs breathing, and your body moving without you having to think about it. You don't wake up in the morning and say, "Heart, please beat 70 times per minute today." It just happens, and that's thanks to your subconscious. But it's not just about physical functions. The subconscious is also where your habits, emotions, memories, and automatic reactions live. Think about driving a car or riding a bike. At first, You had to consciously think about every single movement. Press the pedal, look at the mirror, turn the handle. But after enough practice, those actions became automatic. You no longer have to focus on each step. Your subconscious takes over, and you do it almost without thinking. Here's another example. Imagine you hear a song that you used to love years ago, and suddenly you feel emotional or remember a specific time in your life. You didn't tell yourself to feel that way. Your subconscious connected the music to a memory and sent that feeling up to your conscious mind. What makes the subconscious especially powerful is that it doesn't question what you feed it. It doesn't stop to analyze whether a thought is helpful or harmful. If you keep saying to yourself, "I'm terrible at learning languages," your subconscious accepts it and acts as if it's true, making you feel nervous, blocking your progress, and even causing you to avoid practice. But if you repeat, "I can improve if I keep trying," your subconscious will start to support that belief, giving you more confidence and energy to take action. Many psychologists and thinkers, including Dr. Joseph Murphy, describe the subconscious as a fertile garden. Whatever seeds you plant, positive or negative, will eventually grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, your life will reflect that. If you plant seeds of confidence, patience, and hope, you'll see a very different result. The tricky part is that most of us are not fully aware of what we're planting. Our thoughts and beliefs are often habits we've picked up from childhood, family, culture, or past experiences. Maybe someone once told you, "You're not good at speaking," and that statement went straight into your subconscious. Even years later, when you try to speak in English or give a presentation, that old belief might suddenly appear and make you nervous. So, the subconscious mind is not some mysterious, magical force. It's a natural part of how we function every single day. It's like a powerful assistant that works for you 24/7. But here's the important point. If you don't give it clear, positive instructions, it will just continue running on old programs, even the ones that don't help you anymore. Think about it. How many of your actions today were automatic? From the way you brushed your teeth, to the route you took to work, to the way you reacted when someone annoyed you. So much of it was guided by your subconscious, not by careful, conscious decision-making. And that's why learning how to communicate with this hidden part of your mind can make such a huge difference in your life. Summary of book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Dr. Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, is one of the most famous books on how our thoughts influence our lives. This book was first published back in 1963. And yet, the lessons inside it still feel just as relevant today. Why? Because it talks about something that never goes out of style: the way our inner world creates our outer world. Its main message is simple, but very deep. The thoughts and beliefs you hold inside yourself, especially the ones you repeat every day, shape your reality. Murphy often explains that your mind is like a garden. The conscious mind is the gardener, and the subconscious mind is the soil. Whatever seeds you plant in that soil, whether they are positive or negative, will grow and become the experiences of your life. If you plant seeds of fear, self-doubt, or anger, those feelings will grow stronger. But if you plant seeds of hope, confidence, and gratitude, your life will reflect those qualities instead. One of the book's most powerful ideas is that your subconscious does not judge or argue. It simply accepts what you give it, just like soil accepts any seed. If you say, "I can never do this," your subconscious begins to act as though that statement is true. It will make you notice obstacles, feel anxious, and even miss opportunities that could have helped you. On the other hand, if you tell yourself, "I can learn this step by step," your subconscious starts looking for ways to make that possible. Murphy explains that visualization and affirmations are two of the best ways to direct your subconscious mind. Visualization means creating a clear picture in your head of what you want. If you want to feel confident speaking English, imagine yourself doing it successfully. See yourself in a conversation, hear your voice sounding calm, and feel the relief and pride afterward. Your subconscious responds to images almost as strongly as it responds to real experiences. So by repeating this mental image, you begin to prepare your mind and body to behave that way in real life. Affirmations are positive sentences that you repeat to yourself, often out loud or silently, until they start to feel natural. For example, instead of saying, "I'm terrible at speaking," you could say, "I am improving every day. My English gets better with every conversation." At first, it might feel strange or even fake, but Murphy reminds us that repetition is key. Just as a song you hear every morning eventually gets stuck in your head, repeated positive statements slowly become part of your subconscious programming. One famous line from the book says, "Change your thoughts, and you change your destiny." This is not just a poetic idea, it's a practical one. If you spend your days focusing on problems, you'll feel stressed and powerless. But if you teach yourself to focus on solutions, even small ones, you start noticing opportunities you didn't see before. It's like changing the lens of a camera. The world itself doesn't change, but what you notice and how you react becomes completely different. Murphy also warns about the danger of negative autosuggestions, the quiet, automatic phrases we tell ourselves without realizing it. Phrases like, "I'm unlucky," "This always happens to me," or "I'll never get better" act like weeds in your mental garden. They grow quickly, and they can choke the healthy, positive thoughts you are trying to develop. That's why one of his main techniques is to catch those negative thoughts as soon as you notice them, and replace them with something better. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I always fail at this," immediately say, "I am learning. Every attempt makes me stronger." The core idea of the book is this: your thoughts shape your reality. Not just your passing thoughts, like "I feel tired" or "I forgot my keys," but the deep, repeated messages you tell yourself every single day. Those beliefs about who you are, what you can do, and what you deserve sink into your subconscious, and from there, they start to influence your actions, your emotions, and your results. Murphy explains that your mind is like a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. Whatever you plant, good or bad, will grow. If you plant fear, doubt, and negativity, you will grow more fear, doubt, and negative experiences. But if you plant confidence, hope, and gratitude, then over time, your reality will start to reflect that instead. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. He writes, "Change your thoughts, and you change your destiny." One of the key concepts in the book is the power of mental images. According to Dr. Murphy, your subconscious responds to pictures and emotions, not just words. So if you want to create change in your life, whether that's in your health, finances, or relationships, you have to start visualizing the outcome you want. That means seeing it clearly in your mind, feeling it as if it's already real, and repeating that image daily. The more real it feels to you, the more your subconscious begins to accept it as truth and starts guiding your actions to match. He gives many examples of this in the book. There are stories of people who visualized healing from serious illnesses, who imagined themselves finding love or building successful businesses, and who actually saw those things happen. Of course, this isn't about just wishing for something and waiting. It's about building a deep belief in your desired outcome and aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions with that belief. One powerful story in the book tells of a man who had been unemployed for months. He started using visualization and affirmations every day. Instead of focusing on fear, he imagined himself already working in a job he loved. He even pictured himself smiling, shaking hands with his new boss, and receiving his paycheck. Within weeks, an opportunity appeared, and he got hired in a position that matched his vision almost exactly. Whether you call that coincidence or something more, the message is clear. What you believe, you begin to create. Another key lesson from the book is the importance of faith. Not religious faith, but belief in possibility. Murphy says that your subconscious doesn't argue. It doesn't analyze or judge your thoughts. It simply follows your deepest beliefs. If you believe that success is possible for others, but not for you, your subconscious will quietly help prove that idea right. But if you believe, truly believe, that you can grow, change, and succeed, even in small steps, then your subconscious will begin to open doors you didn't even see before. He writes, "Your subconscious mind is like a soil that accepts any kind of seed, good or bad. Your job is to plant the right kind of thoughts." That's where affirmations come in. Murphy suggests repeating positive statements. Simple phrases like, "I am calm, confident, and focused," or "Success comes to me naturally." But the secret is to repeat them with feeling. If you say something without emotion, it's just words. But if you say it while imagining it and truly feeling it, that's when it starts to sink in. What I love about this book is that it doesn't promise instant miracles. It reminds us that the process takes time and repetition. Just like learning English, right? You don't become fluent overnight. You repeat, you make mistakes, you keep going, and eventually your brain starts to change. Murphy says the same is true for your beliefs and your life. Change doesn't happen by force. It happens through gentle, steady practice. Now, I want to pause here and invite you to reflect. What thoughts are you planting every day? When you speak to yourself, whether out loud or in your mind, are you building yourself up or tearing yourself down? What kinds of images do you carry in your mind? Are they focused on failure or progress? You don't need to have all the answers today, but simply becoming more aware, noticing the thoughts that pass through your mind, is already a powerful step forward. Because once you're aware, you can begin to choose differently. The power of your subconscious mind isn't just a book you read once. It's a book you return to, like a quiet friend who reminds you what you're capable of. And if you take even one idea from it, that your thoughts can shape your reality, and apply it in your daily life, you may start to see small, meaningful shifts that lead to bigger changes over time. Remember, your subconscious mind is always listening. The question is, what story do you want it to hear? Throughout the book, Murphy shares many stories of people who changed their lives by changing their mental habits. He describes people who overcame serious health problems, financial difficulties, and even deep fears simply by training their subconscious minds to focus on healing, success, and possibility instead of fear and failure. The key lesson is this: your subconscious mind is always listening, and it's always responding to the messages you give it. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to force yourself to think positively all the time. But the more often you choose thoughts of hope, trust, and progress, the more your subconscious will help you see paths forward instead of walls blocking your way. Why we often limit ourselves. It's easy to talk about the power of the subconscious mind and how positive thoughts can change your life, but there's something we all need to face honestly. Most of us are the ones putting limits on ourselves. We do it without even realizing it, and often we've been doing it for years. Think about this for a second. How many times have you stopped yourself before you even began? How many times have you had an idea, a dream, or even a small goal, but then a quiet voice in your head whispered, "What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough?" And instead of taking action, you let that thought decide for you. One of the biggest reasons we limit ourselves is self-doubt. We question our abilities, even when we've done similar things successfully in the past. For example, maybe you want to improve your English, start speaking with new people, or apply for a better job. But then that doubtful voice says, "You're not ready. You might embarrass yourself." And instead of trying, you hold back. The subconscious mind accepts that hesitation as truth, and soon it becomes a habit. You automatically avoid opportunities that might have helped you grow. Another powerful block is perfectionism. Many of us think, if I can't do it perfectly, I shouldn't do it at all. It sounds reasonable on the surface. Who doesn't want to do things well? But perfectionism often hides a fear of failure. Instead of taking small steps, practicing and learning as we go, we wait for the right moment, for the time when we'll feel completely confident, fully skilled, and totally prepared. The problem is, that moment almost never comes. By waiting to be perfect, we end up doing nothing at all. And then there's the deep fear of failure itself. We imagine that failing means we're not capable, that it says something about our value as a person. But think about the people you admire. Athletes, artists, successful professionals, even language learners who speak fluently. Do you think they reached that level without making mistakes? Of course not. They failed, often many times. The difference is that they didn't let failure become their identity. They treated it as feedback, not as proof that they should stop. Here's another question for you. What's worse? Trying and failing, or never trying at all and always wondering what could have happened? So many of us live with the second type of regret. We avoid taking chances because we're afraid of the pain of failure. But we forget that not trying also has a cost. It keeps us stuck. It keeps our subconscious programmed with the same old limits, the same old "I can't" messages. Often, these limits didn't even start with us. They came from experiences, from what other people told us, or from moments when we felt embarrassed or rejected. Maybe a teacher once laughed at your answer in class. Maybe a parent said, "You're not the type of person who can do that." Those words sink into the subconscious, and years later, you might still be living by them, without questioning if they're true. But here's the good news. Those old limits are not permanent. They are just learned patterns. If your subconscious mind accepted them once, it can also learn new ones. You can teach it that making mistakes is part of growth, that small steps are more powerful than waiting for perfect conditions, and that trying, even if it feels scary, is always better than doing nothing at all. So, as you listen right now, ask yourself, what would you do if you weren't afraid of failing? What's one thing you've been holding back from because you told yourself you're not ready or not good enough? The truth is, you probably are ready to take at least a small step. And that small step could be the beginning of something much bigger than your fear. How to reprogram your subconscious mind. Now that we've talked about how the subconscious mind works and why we often limit ourselves, Let's focus on something very practical. How can you reprogram your subconscious mind to work for you instead of against you? The good news is that you don't need to do anything complicated or mysterious. You simply need to give your subconscious new instructions again and again until they become stronger than the old ones. And that requires three main tools: daily affirmations, visualization, and consistency. Let's start with daily affirmations. These are short, positive sentences that you repeat to yourself regularly. They're not just happy words to make you feel better in the moment. They're a way to feed your subconscious with new beliefs. For example, if you've always told yourself, "I'm terrible at speaking in English," your subconscious has probably accepted that as truth. But you can begin to change it by repeating something like, "I'm improving my English every day. I can communicate, and I'm getting better with every conversation." At first, your conscious mind might think, "That's not true yet." That's okay. Affirmations are about what you want to believe, not what you already see. With enough repetition, your subconscious starts to accept these new statements as real, and you begin to act in ways that match them. Next comes visualization exercises. This means using your imagination to create clear, detailed pictures of the success you want. If you're afraid of public speaking, for example, imagine yourself standing in front of a small group, speaking calmly. Picture yourself breathing easily, smiling, and seeing people nodding as they listen to you. Try to include as many senses as possible. What do you hear? What do you see? What do you feel? Your subconscious doesn't clearly separate imagined experiences from real ones, so by visualizing success repeatedly, you train your mind and body to behave as if it's already possible. Many athletes, actors, and even surgeons use this technique before big events because it prepares their minds just as much as their skills. But here's something important. These changes don't happen overnight. Your subconscious mind learned its current patterns over years, sometimes decades. That's why the third key is consistency instead of sudden big changes. Think of it like exercise. Doing one workout won't make you strong, but doing small workouts regularly will transform your body over time. It's the same with your mind. A few minutes of affirmations and visualization each day are far more powerful than trying to force yourself to change completely in a single weekend. Let's bring this to life with an example. Imagine someone named Anna. She's smart and capable, but she's terrified of public speaking. Every time she thinks about giving a presentation at work, she hears an inner voice saying, "You're going to mess up. Everyone will laugh." Because of that, she avoids every chance to speak, which means she never gets better, and her fear grows stronger. One day, Anna decides to try reprogramming her subconscious. Each morning, she spends just 2 minutes saying, "I speak clearly and confidently. I enjoy sharing my ideas." At night, before she sleeps, she closes her eyes and imagines herself standing in front of her colleagues, speaking calmly, and finishing her talk while they clap. At first, it feels strange, maybe even fake, but she keeps doing it every day. After a few weeks, something changes. The next time she's asked to speak, she still feels nervous, but she also hears a new voice inside. "You can do this. You've been preparing for this moment." She gives a short presentation. Not perfect, but better than she expected. That small success builds her confidence, and she continues practicing. Over time, her fear decreases, and she starts to see herself as someone who can speak in public. This is how reprogramming works. It's not magic, it's not instant, but it's powerful because it slowly changes the way you see yourself. And once your self-image changes, your actions change too. How beliefs shape your life. So now that we've explored what the subconscious mind is and how it works, let's talk about something even more personal: beliefs. Not just general beliefs like the world is round or exercise is good for you, but the quiet, private beliefs you carry about yourself. Because here's the truth: the beliefs you hold, especially the deep ones, shape your reality more than almost anything else. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine someone who truly believes they're bad at learning languages. Maybe they struggled with English in school. Maybe a teacher once said they weren't trying hard enough. Or maybe, somewhere along the way, they decided they just didn't have the language gene. Now, every time they try to speak English, that belief shows up, silently but strongly. They hesitate. They avoid conversations. They get nervous before they even open their mouth. And then, when they make a small mistake, as everyone does, that belief whispers, "See? I told you." That's what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's when your belief about something influences your actions, and those actions produce the very result you expected. If you believe you're going to fail a test, you might study less, feel more anxious, and not sleep well. And in the end, you don't do well. Not because you're not smart, but because your belief shaped your behavior. You lived the story you told yourself. But here's the other side of that coin. Imagine a person who believes they can improve. They don't think they're perfect, but they trust that their effort matters. When they make a mistake, they don't hear, "I'm not good at English." They hear, "I'm learning. I'll get better." That belief gives them confidence. It helps them try again and again. Over time, their English really does improve because they kept showing up and they kept going. And eventually, that belief becomes their reality. I once met a student, let's call her Anna, who was terrified of speaking English. She had lived in an English-speaking country for over a year, but avoided conversations whenever possible. She told me, "I freeze every time. I feel like I just disappear." And when we started to explore that together, we discovered that she'd been carrying a belief since she was a teenager. That her voice didn't matter. That if she made a mistake, people would laugh at her. No one had ever told her that directly. But a few small experiences, plus her own doubts, created a belief that took root. Once she became aware of it, she started to challenge it. She didn't do anything dramatic. No speeches, no interviews, just small daily actions. A conversation at the coffee shop, a quick question to a coworker, a phone call to practice, and after a few months, she came to me and said, "I don't feel invisible anymore. I still make mistakes, but I'm not hiding." That shift didn't start with a grammar rule. It started with a belief. And this goes beyond English. Think about other areas of your life, your work, your health, your relationships. What do you believe about yourself in those areas? Are those beliefs supporting you or stopping you? Now, I'm not saying that just thinking positive will solve everything. Life is complicated, and some challenges are real and difficult. But what I am saying is this: your beliefs are the lens through which you experience everything. If the lens is dirty or broken, the picture will always feel unclear, even if the world outside is full of opportunity. So take a moment with me right now. Just pause for a second. Breathe in and breathe out. What's one belief you've carried for years that might not be true anymore? Maybe it's something like, "I'm not creative," or "I'll never be confident," or "People won't take me seriously if I make mistakes." Where did that belief come from? Did you choose it, or did it just grow over time? You see, we all carry old stories. Some we wrote ourselves. Some were written for us by other people. But the beautiful thing about stories is they can be rewritten. And the moment you begin to question your beliefs, to look at them clearly and kindly, is the moment you take back your power. In The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Dr. Murphy reminds us that your subconscious accepts whatever you believe most deeply. If you feed it fear, it produces fear. If you feed it faith, it produces courage. And this doesn't mean ignoring your problems. It means approaching them from a different angle. With curiosity, with hope, with the idea that change is possible and that you're not stuck. So, as we close this part of the episode, I invite you to reflect. Not to fix everything today, but simply to notice, what do I believe about myself? And is it helping me grow or holding me back? If it's the second one, maybe it's time to begin changing that belief. Slowly, gently, and with love. Because the truth is, your reality is shaped more by what's happening inside you than by what's happening around you. And when your beliefs begin to change, your life begins to change too. Real-life examples and stories. We've talked about affirmations, visualization, and consistency, but let's bring those ideas to life with some real stories. Sometimes, hearing how others have used the power of their subconscious mind makes these techniques feel more real, more possible for you too. One famous example comes from the world of sports. Have you ever heard of Muhammad Ali, the legendary boxer? He wasn't just strong physically, he was also mentally powerful. Long before he became a champion, Ali constantly told himself, and everyone around him, "I am the greatest." At first, it sounded arrogant, maybe even unrealistic. But for him, it wasn't just a statement to impress people. It was a way to train his subconscious mind. By repeating that phrase over and over, he started to believe it deeply. That belief gave him the confidence to train harder, to push through pain, and to step into the ring already feeling like a winner. His mind shaped his actions, and his actions shaped his success. Another example is Jim Carrey, the actor and comedian. Before he became famous, he was struggling financially. He used to drive up to a place in Hollywood, park his car, and visualize himself acting in successful movies. He even wrote himself a fake check for $10 million, dated it for a future year, and kept it in his wallet as a symbol of what he believed was coming. At that time, it must have felt crazy. He didn't have the money and no one knew his name. But he kept imagining his future, working on his craft, and believing in that vision. Years later, he actually received a movie contract worth $10 million, just like the amount he had written on that check. These stories might sound dramatic, but they're not about magic. They're about how strong a focused mind can be when you feed it with consistent, positive images and beliefs. The subconscious doesn't know whether something is happening right now or in your imagination. It just responds to the messages you give it. That's why visualization and affirmations are so powerful. Now, you don't have to be a famous athlete or actor to use these techniques. Let's make it personal. Think about your own life for a moment. Have you ever noticed a time when a simple change in your belief helped you succeed? Maybe you once thought, "I'll never understand this grammar." But then you decided to keep practicing. And suddenly, it started to make sense. Or maybe you were nervous about speaking to someone in English, but you told yourself, "It's okay if I make mistakes. I can still communicate." And then, surprisingly, the conversation went better than you expected. Your subconscious mind was part of those moments. When you believed, even a little bit, that you could do something, your actions changed. You tried. You didn't quit as quickly. And because you acted differently, you created a new result. This is why it's so important to notice the small victories in your life. They are proof that your mind responds to the messages you give it. Each positive belief you practice is like a tiny seed. At first, it might feel invisible, but over time, it grows into something much bigger, a new habit, a new level of confidence, or even a completely new life direction. So as you're listening right now, ask yourself, what's one area in your life where a more positive belief could change things for you? And what small step can you take today to plant that belief in your subconscious mind? Practical daily practices. Now that we've talked about what the subconscious mind is and how powerful it can be, let's make this very practical. It's one thing to understand the theory, but it's another to turn it into simple habits you can actually use in your everyday life. The good news is, reprogramming your subconscious doesn't have to take hours. In fact, some of the most effective practices are very short and easy, and they fit naturally into your routine. One of the best times to influence your subconscious mind is right before you go to bed. At night, just as you're falling asleep, your conscious mind becomes quieter, and your subconscious is more open to suggestions. This is a perfect moment to plant a positive thought. Instead of ending your day worrying about mistakes or problems, try this. Close your eyes, take a slow breath, and say to yourself something encouraging, like, "I am learning and improving every day," or "Tomorrow I will wake up calm and ready." It might sound simple, but those last thoughts you have before sleep are like instructions you're giving to your subconscious. The same is true in the morning. When you wake up, picture the day going well. Before you grab your phone or start rushing, take just 30 seconds to imagine yourself moving through your day with confidence. See yourself handling conversations, tasks, or even challenges with ease. Feel the sense of calm and control that comes with that picture. Starting your morning this way doesn't just make you feel better, it actually tells your subconscious what kind of energy and focus you want to carry throughout the day. Another small but powerful practice is to speak your affirmations out loud. Yes, say them with your voice, not just in your head. For example, you can stand in front of the mirror and say, "I am confident. I communicate clearly. I can handle new situations." Speaking aloud makes the words stronger, and for English learners, it's an extra opportunity to practice pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency. You're not only training your mind, you're also training your speaking skills. Consistency is the secret here. These practices might feel too easy to make a difference, but remember, your subconscious mind learns through repetition. One encouraging thought before bed won't change your life. But doing it every night for a week, then for a month, and then for 3 months, this can slowly replace old negative patterns with new, supportive ones. Think of it like watering a plant. A single drop of water won't help much, but a little bit every day will make that plant grow strong. Your mind works the same way. The short moments you spend guiding your thoughts will, over time, build a more confident, focused version of you. And here's something to try right now, if you can. Say out loud, "I am improving. I am capable. I am becoming more confident every day." Notice how it feels, even if it feels a little strange at first. With practice, those words will stop feeling unusual. They will start feeling like the truth. Common mistakes and how to avoid them. As powerful as the subconscious mind is, many people don't see the results they hope for, not because the techniques don't work, but because they make some very common mistakes. Understanding these mistakes and how to avoid them can save you a lot of frustration and help you stay on track as you build new habits and beliefs. The first big mistake is that people quit too soon. When they start practicing affirmations or visualization, they expect fast results. They think, if I repeat this for 3 days, my life should already be different. But the subconscious mind doesn't work like that. Remember, your current thoughts and habits have been in place for years. It takes time for new ones to replace them. Imagine planting a seed today and checking tomorrow to see if a tree has grown. Of course, it hasn't. Not because the seed is weak, but because it needs time, water, and care. The same is true for your mental seeds. If you stop after just a few days, or even a few weeks because you don't see immediate change, you're giving up right before the real results start to show. Patience and consistency are essential. Another mistake many people make is that they focus only on affirmations and forget about action. Affirmations and visualization are powerful tools, but they are not magic spells. You cannot simply sit at home, repeat "I am confident" 100 times, and expect to suddenly become a confident speaker without practicing. Your subconscious mind will support you, yes, but it needs you to take action in the real world so it can create new experiences to build on. If your goal is to speak better English, affirmations like "I am improving my English every day" are helpful, but you also need to practice speaking, listening, and engaging with the language. Affirmations open the door, but your actions are what allow you to step through that door and actually change your reality. The third mistake is that people continue their negative habits unconsciously, even while trying to think positively. For example, someone might spend 5 minutes each morning saying positive affirmations, but then spend the rest of the day complaining, criticizing themselves, or thinking about everything that could go wrong. This sends mixed messages to the subconscious mind. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake. You won't get very far. To avoid this, you need to become more aware of the small thoughts and words you use throughout the day. Each time you catch yourself saying something negative like, "I can't do this," pause and replace it with a better thought such as, "I'll find a way to do this," or "I'm learning." It might feel repetitive at first, but each small correction weakens the old negative pattern and strengthens the new one. Avoiding these mistakes doesn't mean you have to be perfect. You don't need to control every thought or force yourself to be positive all the time. That would be impossible and exhausting. Instead, focus on being consistent, patient, and aware. Keep planting positive seeds every day. Take small actions that match your goals, and gently notice when old habits show up so you can redirect them. Over time, your subconscious mind will begin to respond to the new messages, and you'll see changes not just in how you think, but in how you act and in the results you get. We've covered a lot in today's episode, and before we finish, let's take a moment to bring everything together. We started by talking about what the subconscious mind really is, a powerful part of you that works quietly in the background, shaping your habits, your reactions, and even the opportunities you notice in life. We explored Dr. Joseph Murphy's key ideas, that your mind is like a garden, that the thoughts you plant become the reality you experience, and that with visualization, affirmations, and consistent practice, you can guide your subconscious toward helping you instead of holding you back. We also looked at the reasons why we often limit ourselves: self-doubt, perfectionism, and the fear of failure. And we discussed simple ways to reprogram your mind by using daily affirmations, visualizing success, and taking small, steady actions rather than waiting for instant results. We shared real-life examples of people who turned their beliefs into powerful tools for success. And we even practiced thinking about small daily routines, like saying one encouraging thought before bed, or picturing a positive day when you wake up in the morning. Now, as we come to the end, I want to leave you with a question. What belief about yourself do you need to change today? Maybe it's the thought that you're not good enough, or that you'll never speak English fluently, or that it's too late to start something new. Ask yourself honestly, is that belief helping you, or is it holding you back? And if it's holding you back, what could you say to yourself instead? Remember, you don't need to change everything all at once. Start small. Choose one simple, positive statement and repeat it each day. Imagine yourself already living as if that belief were true. Give your subconscious time to learn the new message, just like it once learned the old one. I'd love for you to actually try these practices over the next week. Notice what happens when you change even a few of your daily thoughts. And if you feel comfortable, share your experience with us. Leave a comment or message. Tell me what belief you're working on changing. Your story might inspire someone else who's listening and struggling with the same thing. Thank you for spending this time with me here on Code Your English. Remember, improving your English is important, but growing your mindset can be just as powerful. Together, they can open doors you may not even see yet. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep planting those positive seeds. I hope to see you in the next episode, where we'll continue exploring ideas that help you not only learn English, but also build a stronger, more confident version of yourself. Until then, take care, keep speaking kindly to yourself, and never forget, you are capable of much more than you think.